Thank you for having us at Centricity Speaks. Today, as part of Concept Reckoner 101, we have Mr. Faraz Mahmood with us. Today, we are going to discuss a very interesting topic, which is in fixed income, should one look at the credit play or the duration play? So, Faraz, what would you or how would you want to play the fixed income?
So first of all, thank you, Ishkaran, for having me. So fixed income is a very interesting concept, and which most of the people are not playing, especially the retail masses. So HNIs have understood the importance of debt, and it makes a sizable part of their portfolio. But as you rightly said, there are two debates, so duration versus credit. So I would say duration or credit play should be played depending upon the times we are in. So whenever the spreads are high, the spreads justify, I think so credit will be a better call. And whenever we are towards the peak of the interest rate cycle, then we are this thing, and there are expectations that interest rates are going to come down in the near future. I think so that is the time to play duration. So like currently we are towards the peakish or peak of the interest rate cycle, and if you look at, and the inflation is also coming under control, and it is in RBI's comfort limit. So over a period of time, I think so RBI will start looking, or rather giving more importance to the growth, and they'll start cutting the interest rates. So Ishkaran, you would remember that when we were children, we used to play a lot on seesaw.
Yes.
So interest rates and bond prices have that same relationship. So whenever the interest rates go up, bond prices go down. And whenever the interest rates come down, the bond prices, they go up. And then there is a general rule of thumb that if the modified duration of a particular portfolio, say, is 6 years, and the interest rates they go up by 1%, there will be an absolute negative impact of 6% on the portfolio. And if the interest rates actually come down by 1%, there's going to be a positive 6% absolute return, which will be generated by that particular portfolio. But this obviously is rule of thumb. Things may differ in real life, but this is the general thing. So as I was telling you, credit is something which is justified by the spreads. So if you look at the current market situation, the spreads between a high rated paper and a low rated paper are not that great. But having said that, there are pockets of opportunities which should be looked into with the help of an investment advisor.
So Faraz, as the credit risk, the name suggests, or the credit play, how should one play? Whether playing it through a diversified mutual fund, or should one look at NCDs and bonds? And how does one do the due diligence? And some of the factors which you would recommend or suggest the investors to be careful while choosing that?
Sure. Thank you for asking that question, Ishkar, and I think so that will be something which our audience would be looking forward to hear. So both these strategies have their benefits. So if you are going through a fund manager, so the fund manager will create a diversified kitty of credit papers, and because they are mostly structured deals, especially in alternate funds, so over there is a lien which is created by the fund managers over the receivables, and they also take lien as far as the promoter equity is concerned. So that becomes a backing, and which makes the credit play even safer.
So something like a promoter guarantee, pledge on their security, pledge on their future cash flow earnings.
Exactly. So that is where the comfort comes. Okay, so that is the advantage of playing it through a proper fund manager. So one may consider alternate funds, which are commonly known as AIFs, to play this credit play. Obviously, if you have a good investment advisor or a team which is well researched, so one can actually look at investing directly into credit papers also at this point of time. So because generally the whole thing is creating that alpha. So if currently there are certain opportunities which create that alpha in your portfolio by taking that calculated credit call, I'll say calculated credit call, then it makes sense to look at credit papers also currently. But if I have to talk generally, the situation we are in right now, as I was saying earlier, RBI has paused the interest rate increase. The yields, in fact, have come down in the last few months, or rather, 1 quarter. So somebody who had invested into, say, duration play in March, and there were huge inflows in the mutual fund industry in the month of March as far as debt funds were concerned because of the taxation normal changes.
Yes.
So those people are sitting at, say, 6%, 7% absolute return. So that is the power of duration and debt, which people generally don't understand, especially the retail public. They believe high double-digit returns or medium double-digit returns are only possible in equity. But actually, in my small career of 20 years, I've seen a few credit cycles, and I've seen debt funds giving a high double-digit return also. So the opportunity is big. It is only that you should know what is an opportune time. So right now, inflation levels or the inflation numbers which are getting printed, they are in control. They are coming in RBI comfort zone. The interest rate pause has actually happened. And what people believe is, in due course of time, RBI might be giving preference to growth. And the overall interest rate in the economy also impacts the government, because ultimately the government is also borrowing. So if the interest rates are low in a particular economy, the cost of borrowing for the government also comes down. So that is why the government is also a big supporter of lower interest rates. So when all these things they'll actually play out, the kind of returns one can actually possibly make from duration play, they are going to be huge. Again, mutual funds are subject to market risk. So please read the offer document carefully before investing and consult your investment advisor.
So to summarize what Faraz said, to play the interest rate / duration risk, one should look at the long-term GSEC funds, look at the dynamic funds, or look at the gilt funds or SDL-based funds where they can play the interest rate cycle.
One very good point. I'm sorry, Ishkaran, I'm interrupting you. So you this thing just named a category called the dynamic bond fund. So I, for one, because people generally don't know what is a good time to enter and what is a good time to exit, because that actually gives the experience of whether a particular category is good or not. Generally, in my career, what I have seen is whenever the juice in duration is, say, kind of 60% or 70% extracted, then people start investing into duration. By the time it is too late, and suppose there is one or two variables they change, then the other side starts working and people don't see very high returns coming through, or they even see negative returns coming through. So again, I'll give an example of 2008, 2009, wherein everything was going great guns. But the then finance minister, Mr. Pranab Mukherjee, decided to double the borrowings. Just because of this factor, everything remained the same. Just because of this factor, the yields started increasing and people saw negative returns on their portfolio. So again, see, there are certain variables which one should consider when they are investing into duration play. So that is why it is always said that you should have a good investment advisor by your side who understands all these aspects. Now, coming to again the credit play. So again, when the interest rates in our economy are low, then the kind of carry you get from debt funds, and if you're sticking only to the high quality papers, the carry on the portfolio which is created is pretty low. So in those times, and generally there are good times wherein your liquidity is ample, your general emotions are also kind of positive. So during those times, one can actually enhance the portfolio yields by investing into credit play, either through a fund manager, as we discussed earlier, or looking at these opportunities and investing in them directly.
So, just to add to what Faraz said, credit play can be played through credit risk mutual funds. For high ticket investors, it can be through alternate investment funds, or through direct bond deals, subject to understanding the risk run by those fund managers.
So one more thing, again, I'm so sorry, again, I'm interrupting you. I again like to bring this concept because this is a wonderful platform to explain things and what is the right vehicle to invest or not. Generally, if you have to play a credit, it should be either on a held to maturity basis or through a closed-ended product. Because if you remember a few years back, this credit play was a very big theme as far as mutual funds were concerned. And when the liquidity situations were bad, these funds went through a very bad phase. Not because those papers were bad or those companies were bad. It was the liquidity situation was not in favor of these funds. And when these funds saw huge redemptions, that liquidity was not able to create, was not kind of created, and you saw what you saw.
With one of the large fund houses, we all know.
So it happened across board. So one of the large fund houses got impacted much more,
where they had to wind up the schemes.
Yeah. So, but again, see, the whole thing is you have to choose the right vehicle for the concept you are playing. So again, it should be either on a held to maturity basis, or it should be played through a closed-ended platform. So, I'm sorry I interrupted you, but
it's always good to hear your insights, Faraz, and that's for the general viewers. So today we would like to thank you for having us at the Centricity Speaks Concept Reckoner 101. Have a good evening. Thank you.
Thank you.